Hello, friends. Welcome once again to this space. We have the visit of a new pro wrestler that has accepted the call. This time is the Hellbent Vixen, Viva Van. Hello, Viva. It's nice to have you here.
Hi, thank you for having me.
You are one of the wrestlers that represent both America, but also what's happening right now. There's this booming in Asia. You also represent Vietnam. So I want to talk a bit about what you've been doing in the States, but also about what you will be doing in Asia in a couple of weeks. There's some announcements that have been done recently about dates in Japan, dates in Vietnam, in Singapore. So there's a lot of things to discuss. But before that, I want to go literally to the beginning. So can you please tell us, why did you decide to become a pro wrestler?
I started to become a pro wrestler when I was in college. I was miserable in college. I was doing accounting at the time, and I always had a secret passion for pro wrestling. I watched wrestling since I was a kid, played the video games. And so while I was miserable, I got out of class. I remember, crying because I wanted to start pro wrestling training, but I didn't have the money for it. So I remember just praying in my car before I drove home from school. I was like, please, please God, like the pro wrestling class starts on Monday. I don't know what to do, how I can get this money to start this training, but this is something I really, really want. So I cried, I finished my prayers, and I started driving home. And then I got in a car accident. And I was like, great, this is not what I needed right now. I remember pulling over and got out the car, and the guy that hit me, it wasn't that big of a car accident, thankfully, but I just remember he told me straight up, he was like, I don't want to get any car insurance involved. I know that it is my fault. Here's a check. And the check was the exact amount I needed to start pro wrestling class. So I remember I looked at my car and I thought to myself, oh, this scratch will come right off. I took that money, that check, and I signed up for pro wrestling that following Monday.
It's like fate,
Yeah. Yeah, it did. It was like I answered, or I prayed for something and it got answered right away, but it wasn't the way I wanted it, but it was still answered.
If I'm not wrong, you started at the Centino Brothers School?
Correct.
So how was the experience?
The experience there was rough for me because it was brand new to me. So it took me a while to learn, to get the craft down. I felt like it was definitely hard on the body. The in-ring cardio is really rough. Like, you can do any cardio. You can be a track runner, sprint runner, but I feel like you don't understand the type of cardio it takes until you get into professional wrestling. It's just something different about hitting the ropes and running across the ring. Is just so much harder. So that took me a while to get adjusted to. But I felt like I learned a lot of fundamentals at Santino Bros, but it wasn't until I started training at Rikishi at Knox Pro. I started in like 2020, 2021 after I graduated Santino's, and Rikishi helped me understand the psychology of wrestling and what it was like to work the camera, because he's a Hall of Famer, so he's been doing it for years. He knows how to work the camera angles, and I felt like that turned a light bulb in my head to make me understand the psychology of wrestling more. And then I joined New Japan Academy in 2023, and I felt like that just improved my craft even more, because it's just, I learned a lot from everywhere, but it's just 3 different styles combining together that made me.
I believe those 3 experiences, 3 ways of doing pro wrestling, of teaching pro wrestling, have, like you mentioned, made the Viva that we see nowadays. So that's very cool. It's your own style. Mm-hmm. And in that sense, I want to know if you have wrestlers that you consider your references, your role models.
My role models? Well, I remember when I first got introduced to wrestling was through the PlayStation game, the WrestleMania arcade game. And I didn't know that Undertaker was real. I thought he was just a character, and he was my favorite. I would always pick Undertaker on the game. And then I remember going to school one day, and my friend's like, yeah, you should try watching it every week on TV. I was like, what do you mean? They're like, those are real people. So that's when I was like, oh my gosh. So I would watch. I loved Undertaker. I think I loved Tajiri. At the time that I was watching, there wasn't that many women that got to do like the wrestling that we see today. It was more of like, diva style wrestling where they didn't really get to showcase what they could actually do other than China at the time. But people that I looked up to at that moment was probably Undertaker and Tajiri, because like Tajiri is the closest one that looked like me that I could see, There wasn't really a Vietnamese wrestler.
So your friends told you that it was something that you could watch on TV on a weekly basis. So you started watching.
Uh-huh. Funny way to get in.
Yeah. Well, but those two are influences, figures. The Undertaker will know, even people that haven't watched wrestling like ever know who is the Undertaker. And Tajiri is a master in the craft, very influential, and still does his work with his own promotion back in Japan. So very cool. Mm-hmm. Now, I want to go further into your career. One of the big promotions, respected organizations in North America is Ring of Honor. You have competed a lot over there. So how has it been your experience competing there?
It's been great. I've been trying my best to show people why I'm here, why I belong here, because before I got to AEW Ring of Honor, I worked as an extra there for a very long time. So I didn't really get to showcase myself as much as I wanted when I worked as an extra. Now that I am signed, I'm able to do that. And I want to show that I belong there, I think it's kind of a hill for me to get over, to let people see me more than just an extra. I'm no longer an extra. I'm equal talent now. And that's what I'm trying to show.
Yes, I believe there's also a difference in time, because it's hard when you're talking about wrestling as a TV product, because there's like Tony Khan has talked about that many times about you have certain amount of time, you have a certain amount of talent that you can showcase in that 2 television hours that you have, for example. So it's very hard, but from the matches that we have seen you compete since you were signed, the time difference is significant. You pass from matches of 1 or 2 minutes to matches around 10 minutes. So it's something really cool to see. Before going to AEW, I want to ask about the opportunity you had while you were competing in Ring of Honor. You had 2 challenges for the ROH Women's World Championship. First against Mercedes Martinez, and then against Athena. So how was this experience, competing for the top prize of Ring of Honor?
Oh my gosh. Those experiences was so nerve-wracking, because at that time, I wasn't signed yet. I was still just an extra. So just to have like a big opportunity like that, and then I also want to show AEW why I belong here, why they should offer me a contract. I was very limited on what I could do, obviously, not being signed. But I just knew that I had to give it my all, even if it's just a little bit of time. I tried my best to do what I knew would be solid during the few minutes I had.
Now, going into AEW, one of the biggest promotions around the world right now, in around 6 years of existence, which is something crazy to say and to think, many milestones, and you have compete against some of the best in the world over there. So how has it been your experience now that you mentioned you're a signed talent? So how has it been over there? And if there's any match that you would like to highlight so far?
Now as a signed talent, it's been great. Like I said earlier, I'm trying to transition myself from like people being so used to seeing me as an extra to now signed talent. So it's the way of like, I'm trying to grow to show that, hey, there's actually, I can do a lot more than this. This is just a little bit. But there's also like, I have to think 50-50 for my opponents as well. So, it's pretty much like a teamwork. Yes, it's a match. Yes, we're against each other, but it's also a team effort to make the match magical. So that's been my goal. I've been trying to get better, improve. I still train at New Japan Academy to this day, and I'm always trying to grow and improve my craft.
Thank you. And is there a match that you would like to highlight?
A match that I would like to highlight, I recently had a match against Billy Starks on Ring of Honor, Diana Perazzo, and Olympia. And I enjoyed every three of those matches. All three women are hard-hitting women, and I would like to go again with them if I can. But there's also like so many other women on the roster that I would love to wrestle.
Thank you so much. Now, returning to this bit about New Japan Academy, I didn't know that you were still training over there, but that's something very cool and very important. It's one of the best places to train in the West Coast, if I'm not wrong. It's in West Coast, right? So
Yeah,
I'm always confusing West Coast and East Coast.
Yeah. No worries. Yeah, it's in Los Angeles.
Perfect. So New Japan, it's an organization from Asia, but some years ago they decided to create a dojo in Los Angeles, and there's been so many indie figures from America that are now highlights in the indie scene, or maybe like yourself that have been signed by another organization. So how has it been training over there in the New Japan Academy? And the showcase shows that they run, when you can show what you have been doing over there and also showcase this new talent from the academy.
Training at New Japan Academy is probably one of the best facilities for professional wrestling in the West Coast, because not just only do we have really great trainers like Fred Rosser and Kushida, sometimes Rocky Romero stops by too. We have a great ring, an incredible ring. I think we have one of the best rings in the world. And then we have a gym there. So not only do you get wrestling training, you can also get a workout there too. But it's also a tight-knit circle, because you can graduate from New Japan Academy, but not every graduate gets invited back. So being invited back to continue to keep training like I have been has been such an honor and a blessing, and I will continue to keep taking advantage of that. So whenever I'm not on the road with AEW, or I'm not on the road for any other bookings outside of AEW, I am always making time to train there every week.
Many can graduate from the academy, but not everyone gets invited back or gets to compete in the New Japan shows or New Japan Strong shows. You have competed in many of those shows, not only in the academy shows. You have wrestled against some of the best in the world.
Yeah.
You also competed for the CMLL Women's World Championship last year. So those are very cool moments. Mm-hmm. Is there a match that you would like to highlight from your experience so far?
Ooh. I think the one that I would like to highlight is probably, I felt like every match I've had at New Japan Strong has been amazing. But the one that I would like to highlight is probably my very first one, which was Battle in the Valley, January 2023 against Stephanie Becker. That was a really big match for me. I had just graduated from New Japan Academy, and then I had just gotten this opportunity to be on New Japan Strong right away. So I felt so much pressure. And I remember in that same week, one of my dogs that I've had for 17 years, he passed away. So that was really hard for me during that time. But I also wanted to do my very best, no matter how sad I was, But that is something that I want to highlight, because that was my debut. I tried to give it my all, no matter how sad I was during that time. It was a big moment for me. But probably the second one would probably be the CML Women's World Title, because that fell on my lap literally the week of. I wasn't supposed to be in that. I just found out on that Tuesday where Rocky Romero had texted me. He's, hey, you think you can work this match? And I was like, yeah, sure. But in my head, I was like, oh my gosh, the CML Women's World Title. Like every time I get big opportunities like that, I get very nervous, and I'm like at home freaking out. Like, I need to go to training. I need to get ready for it. but it's been a blessing. Like opportunities have came so much from just graduating New Japan and just New Japan Academy has brought in so many opportunities for me, has helped me gotten so much better in order for me to receive these opportunities too.
Now I'm imagining the moment of, Rocky sending you the text and you are, oh my God, what's happening? But very cool, we just talked that you had 2 matches for the ROH world title, 1 match for the CMLL world title. Those are big opportunities. So that's also proof of your hard work all these years. Mm-hmm. And also, you had the opportunity to go to Mexico, representing New Japan Strong or New Japan Academy. First, you were in the Grand Prix. We just had this year's Grand Prix. You were in last year's Grand Prix, which is one of the biggest women's tournaments in the world. Yeah. So, how was that experience for you?
The Grand Prix is something that I will never forget. It was one incredible week of excitement, anxiety, panic, and just happiness all in one, because going over there to Mexico is completely different. The crowd's different. The language barrier when it comes to working people, that was challenging, but I felt like I grew a lot in Mexico, and CMLL has a really special place in my heart for that, because my first experience was so incredible. Like, I still look back at pictures and videos to this day of how happy I was during that whole week. It was just such a cool experience for me and a lot of the girls from all over the world, and I made friends for life there.
And also, it's very cool because CMLL has different arenas in different cities of Mexico, so that also allows the challenge when, like yourself, you just mentioned, were there for 1 week, you got to experience other places in Mexico. So what places did you like? What would you say is your favorite arena or venue from the world?
My favorite arena is Arena Mexico, for sure. That energy there on Friday nights, there's something about it. Nothing can replace it. It's like when you hear the crowd, like that energy transfers to you, and you feel more confident, more, powerful. Just like hearing that energy, the lighting, how everything looks. It's just like a movie. It's really like a movie. It's like a dream come true. Other places I went to in Mexico, I went to Puebla. I went to Guadalajara, which are all incredible experiences as well. But just Arena Mexico just has its own energy. And maybe because it's been around for so long, there's nothing that can replicate that.
Thank you for that. And then you returned this year for International Women's Day, Día de la Mujer. It was one of the few all-women shows that CMLL has. You went there with Johnny Robbie, also from New Japan Academy, now competing a lot in West Coast Pro and other places. So how was, experiences that CMLL tour this year compared to last one?
So I had done the Grand Prix, and then I got called back to do another tour in December before the tag team tournament that you mentioned. So by the time I did my 3rd tour with Johnny Robbie, I felt like ready, because I knew what to expect now. I knew all the girls in Mexico. We're friends now. It was easier to communicate. It was easier to like wrestle the style out there because of like having experienced it twice over. But the crowd over there, just incredible. It's just like, I feel like they show so much love more and more each time I come back. It was amazing. I want to go back. I would love to go back to CMLL.
That will be very cool, hopefully soon. You are one of the few foreigners that have, like you mentioned, been many times invited to return. This is something that we discussed with some of the talents that were going for the first time, that it's easy to get the call, for one time, but the hard part is, return. And you have been there in 3 tours so far, also competed for the world title. So very cool. Very cool to say.
Yeah.
Okay, now I want to go to your upcoming dates. You have one show in Costa Rica. I don't know if you've been to Costa Rica before.
No, it's gonna be my first time.
Okay, that's very cool. And the promotion is CWE. It's a promotion that is partners with New Japan and with CMLL. I don't know if Samantha is going to be there, but you met her during the Grand Prix because she is on the roster.
Yeah, she will be there. That I did meet her during the Grand Prix, and she's one of the friends that I made throughout the tour. So I'm very excited to see her again. She's very welcoming. I remember the first time I met her, she brought Costa Rica chocolate and she gave it out to everyone in the locker room. So that's a memory I have of her.
I haven't seen the match, so I don't know if you know what's your match, but what are your expectations for this new debut, this new country that you will be visiting for pro wrestling?
I think there are 6 women in the match. So I'm expecting us to all beat each other up and try to be the winner. But all these women are also my friends, but I'm also looking forward to beating them up to be the winner. But I'm looking forward to just seeing my friends again and just having a great time.
Now, you will also be returning to Japan very soon. You have another title match. You will be challenging for MLW's World Women's title.
Yes.
You're on a streak. You're always challenging for world titles of big organizations, you know?
I used to be a belt collector before Monet did it. I'm trying to get back on it.
Yeah. I remember that era of yours. It would be cool to see that. We need more belt collectors over there. So you will be returning to TJPW. You've been there before. Mm-hmm. You've also had some title matches over there against Yuki Kamifuku. First, you lost to her, then you defeated her. So how has it? You also competed in the US tour recently.
Oh yes, yeah, I have.
So how has it been, competing for Tokyo Joshi Pro, one of the biggest women's organizations in the world? And what are your expectations for this title match with Shoko?
Working with TJPW has been amazing. They brought me out to Japan for my first time 2 years ago. And I just remember I had just graduated New Japan Academy. So I went to Japan with the New Japan style in my mind, along with the lucha and American style that I had learned previously too. So when I went there, that promotion TJPW was the first one in Japan to give me an opportunity. So I'm forever thankful for that. The locker room there, the girls there are all great. They're all amazing, so kind. And my experience there, like I said, Kurokuen Hall is like a movie. There's a certain energy there. Just like certain historic arenas, they have their own energy and nothing can ever replicate it or copy it. But I didn't realize how many fans took pictures and how beautiful the pictures turn out or how good they are at editing in Japan. Because I was tagged in hundreds of match photos after my match against Yuki. And although unfortunately I lost that match, but I was really taken back by how many fans posted pictures of me afterwards. I didn't expect that. Or even when I did my first signing after my first match, I did not expect to have a line of people waiting to buy my photos because I'm this is my first time in Japan. I've never been here before. I don't think anyone knows me to buy my photos. But, I had a fan base out there and I'm very grateful for it. And I've worked with TJPW in the US twice. And this will be my 3rd time going back to TJPW. But now for the MLW belt. And, I've never worked for MLW before, but hey, looks like I'm winning the belt before I ever make my debut there.
And it's an interesting fact what you mentioned. They are very passionate fans, both in Mexico and in Japan. Pro wrestling or lucha libre, whatever you want to call it, it's treated more like an sport. It's very respected in those countries. And yeah, they know how to edit very well, right?
Yeah. The pictures are so professional. All the live shots are so professional and the angle is good. You don't look because sometimes fans will post live action shots where you look like your chin, your double chin, or you look like you have a little muffin top here and there. But I feel they make sure you don't look like that over there. They make sure you look good. They edit if they need to. And also, like you said, the audience difference in Japan and Mexico. Like the Japanese crowd, they're quieter. They only cheer when they need to. But in Mexico, it's loud, it's rowdy, it's completely different. But they both love the sport.
After that, you will be going back to America. We don't know what will you be doing. So I don't know if I can enter further into that. You will tell me.
Well, I would just be at an AEW taping when I come back.
Okay.
Yeah.
And then you will return to Asia. You were announced just some days ago at the SPW, Singapore Pro Wrestling, for the ones that don't know about that. And it will be your first time in Singapore for wrestling?
Correct.
Oh.
First time.
In general or only for wrestling?
In general. I've never been to Singapore before.
Okay, but do you know people from that promotion?
I know Alexis Lee.
Oh, cool. Yeah, she's been in NJPW too. And what are your expectations for that? Because I haven't seen a match announcement for that. I just saw that you were announced for the show.
I'm expecting to go for the title, but hey, if they want me to just have a regular match, I'm okay with that too. But Alexis Lee, you better look out.
Okay, I just hope that after the match, you girls can be friends and maybe take some beer, because Alexis loves beer.
She does, yeah. She's so funny.
Okay, then you will be returning to Vietnam. I don't know if you have been in there since the match with Sumi Sakai, but you know the queen is coming home. You are the champion over there. So I want to go further into this first show. You know, that was now Sumi-san is retired, but she's one of the influential women's wrestlers that made an impact in America. So how was your experience of that show 2 years ago?
That experience was incredible because I didn't expect to become main event that night. First women to ever main event in Vietnam history, and then also being inducted into the Hall of Fame, and then having Chris Jericho give you the Hall of Fame plaque. That was not on my bingo card that year. That just kind of happened. They surprised me with that. I just knew that if I were to have my first match in Vietnam, I wanted to be against Sumi Sakai, because Sumi is someone who has helped me so much early on in my first few years of wrestling. She was always so kind to me, always willing to help me out, give me advice on how to get better, what to do in order to grow my name. She's also someone who essentially helped me talk to the right people for TJPW. She's helped a lot of girls go to Japan, actually. So I know I'm not the first one. And during 2020, we were raising funds to build a wrestling ring in Vietnam, because Vietnam never had a wrestling ring at all, and they couldn't afford it. So I remember we did a GoFundMe page, and Sumi was selling her merch, and the money that she would make from her merch, she would donate it to the GoFundMe page as well. So she helped out a lot during that time.
That's a beautiful story. There are so many silent heroes in pro wrestling. We do know that Sumi Sakai has been helping many wrestlers, but not necessarily fans know about that. So it's very cool that you mention it, because even retired, she deserves her flowers, because she does a great work, helping others. And now you're returning to Vietnam as a champion. So what are your feelings? Returning, being a Hall of Famer.
I'm excited. I'm nervous. I don't know who my opponent is for Vietnam, but I have sent an invite to Mercedes many times already. So I'm waiting. It could be anybody, but I've been waiting for Mercedes to answer my invitation. We'll see. Maybe she wants another country off her list. I don't know, but I really don't know who I'm wrestling against. I just know I'm going home. That's it. I'm going home and I'm defending my belt, but I just don't know against who.
It's very special. And what does it mean to you to represent Vietnam now in such a large platform for pro wrestling, which is AEW?
It means a whole lot to me. because when I first started wrestling, I was looking for other people like me. I didn't see any other Vietnamese wrestlers. I wanted to see if I could find other people like me. And when I found VPW, I found them through a documentary on YouTube, and I had reached out to them early on in 2017, 2018, and I had told them, hey, I would love to work for your promotion. And I remember they had reached back out and they said, hey, we've heard about you. We've seen some of your stuff on YouTube too, and we would love to have you. We just don't have a wrestling ring. And I asked them why not, and that's when they told me there's just wrestling is so new in Vietnam. They've only had wrestling for 3 years at that time, and they don't know how to build a ring. So in that very moment, it's when I felt like this is my calling. I was made to be a wrestler to help people like me out. I was looking for other people like me, but maybe I'm the one that has to help start something. So that's when I kept in contact with them, and I found a blueprint to how to build a ring online, and I sent it to them, and they brought that blueprint to a welder, and the welder gave an estimate. And once the welder gave an estimate, that's when we posted the GoFundMe page, and the rest is history.
That's another beautiful story. You are the first Vietnamese wrestler in such a big platform. Like you mentioned, maybe you didn't found one follow, but there will be for sure many that will follow your steps. So that's very cool. Okay, now I want to return a bit about this Mercedes Monet thing, because yes, it's true. We've seen that she has been, interacting, engaging on social media with so many champions from all around the world. And I remember one interaction with you. Maybe there's been more, but I remember one. But for some reason, she has been focusing only in America and Europe. We haven't seen her compete in Asia or for an Asian championship. So what do you think about that potential title match with her?
I think anything is possible. Mercedes has been surprising all of us. She beat Ultimo's goal. Like the limit that he had, she surpassed that. So anything is possible at this point. Maybe Vietnam will be she's been to Japan, but maybe Vietnam will be the first Southeast Asian country that she'll show up to. I have a lot of respect for Mercedes. She's been doing it for a long time. And, although she's like collecting belts and stuff like that, I do see that she does care about professional wrestling a lot. I see that. On another personal note, one thing that I admire about her on a personal level is that we both have something in common. She has a brother, and I also have 2 younger brothers that are both autistic. So, and to see her take care of her brother and raise her brother while she's chasing her dream, it just inspires me, because it makes me believe that I can do the same for my brothers as well.
I hope we get to see that match eventually. Maybe, like you mentioned, Vietnam will be the first Southeast Asian country that she will visit. And thank you for mentioning also Southeast Asia. There's been so many cool things that have been happening over there. Thailand, Singapore, many places that have been being talked now. Because like you mentioned, maybe in Vietnam, this pro wrestling thing was something that was just starting about 10 years ago. Mm-hmm. But now we see more activity in Southeast Asia, and you're going to be going to Singapore now, maybe other places in the future. We don't know that, but what can you tell the people that might not know about what's happening in Southeast Asia, about which countries are over there, have a wrestling scene, and maybe that they could follow if they had the time or wanted to?
I know that there's wrestling is growing throughout all of Southeast Asia. There's wrestling in Thailand, there's wrestling in Malaysia, there's wrestling in the Philippines. There's so much more that's still continuously growing. And I haven't released all my dates yet, so there's still more to be announced. But as of now, I have 3 Southeast Asia countries. Oh wait, 2 Southeast Asia countries for now. Hopefully 3, but we'll see.
Well, that was a spoiler. Maybe not. We don't know yet. So let's wait and see. Let's wait and see. But you did fought for the Queen of Asia title once, so maybe you can become this time the Queen of Southeast Asia. You know.
That would be amazing. I would love that. Mercedes would definitely want that belt. I need to hide that from her.
I want to go a little bit outside of wrestling now. So, can Viva tell us what are her hobbies? What she likes to do on her free time?
What I love to do on my free time is I like to hang out with my family, my boyfriend. Like I mentioned, my brothers. I helped raise my brothers. They're 12 years younger than I am. So my mom was a single mom. So a lot of the times that my mom had to go to work, I had to be the one at home babysitting. And so I've always been the one to baby my brothers, even though they're older now. And that's what I prioritize is my family and my boyfriend, just going out with them. Hobby-wise, I love karaoke. I feel like everyone in Southeast Asia loves karaoke, or Asia, period. I love drinking milk tea with boba. That's something that I love. I love going to amusement parks, like Disneyland and stuff like that. So spending time with family, going out to amusement parks with them, just making memories is my hobby, and working out, because when I'm not on the road, I'm always preparing to stay in ring shape.
That's awesome. Thank you for sharing that. Now I have a question, well, 2 questions related to what you just mentioned. First, do you have a favorite song for karaoke?
Do I have a favorite song for karaoke? I do, but I have a lot of different favorite songs, but my go-to would probably be, I love to sing Don't Speak by No Doubt. I don't know if you know that one. Love on the Brain by Rihanna. I like a lot of R&B karaoke and maybe some pop, but mainly R&B. I used to be in a death metal band though, which is completely different genre from what I'm singing now. But yeah, I used to be in a death metal band way back before wrestling.
Can we go a little bit into that, please?
So before wrestling, I was heavily into heavy metal music. I had many different phases. I had my glam metal phase, I had my thrash metal phase, and then I had my death metal phase, which is when I had my band, and my band was called Mocking of the Trinity. Now, at the time, the music industry for death metal was very male dominant. I believe it's still very heavily male dominant, but there's more women in there now. It was harder for me to be in an industry like that. And also 5 different personalities in one band, it was hard, A lot of the times I felt like it was just a struggle to be in a band with 5 different people, because like everyone has different ideas. And then sometimes when you're like the leader of the band, you get left with the responsibility to book everything. Whereas when I'm a wrestler, I just have to worry about myself. So I think once I started wrestling, I kind of said bye to my bandmates, but this is what I'm doing now. See you later.
And my second question was about amusement parks. Do you have a favorite ride?
A favorite ride? My favorite ride would probably be... This is hard. I think my favorite ride would probably be I forgot the name of it, but it's in Star Wars Land, and it's not the Millennium Falcon one, it's another one. Can't believe I forgot the name of it. But pretty much this ride is so cool. It's a Star Wars ride at Anaheim, California, and it's like a walkthrough experience where you're actually inside the Death Star. And Rise of the Resistance. That's the name of the ride. That is my favorite ride. What I like about it is that you're walking in and it looks like a movie. They walk you through, you see all the characters, and then you finally get on the vehicle and they take you throughout the whole ship. So I think it's so cool because it's like a 15-minute long experience. That's why I like it. It's not like one of those quick roller coasters where it's like 30 seconds and you're done. This is a whole thing.
That's very cool. It's the whole experience and
Yeah.
an interactive experience in that case.
Correct. Yeah.
Okay, you mentioned karaoke. You mentioned that you were in a band, death metal band. You mentioned that you like rides, that you train on your free time also because you are in pro wrestling, so it's important to stay in shape, be healthy. So, are there any other types of arts or sports that you enjoy practicing or consuming?
I can only like think of things that I used to do before wrestling. It's kind of crazy because like once wrestling entered my life, it became my whole life. But things that I did before that I enjoyed was I did go to performing arts school in high school. I did singing, I did dancing. So I was always into arts like that. I have thought about, hey, maybe I should take some dance classes again. I don't know, but I never have time for it because of wrestling.
What is a typical day in your life like?
When I'm not on the road, I wake up, eat my breakfast, make sure I have enough protein, and work out and train. That's it. And eat. That's my typical life. I know it sounds boring, but that is what a normal day is when I'm not on the road.
You just didn't mention sleep, but I hope that you're sleeping well.
I do sleep. I forgot to mention, but I do that a lot. I try to.
Okay, now we are close to the end of 2025 and you are still a champion. You have competed abroad many times. You will be visiting new countries very soon. So what are your goals for next year? What do you envision yourself doing?
My goals next year is to continue to grow my name, grow, just grow in AEW as well. Show them that I'm there to stay and show them and remind them with all these tour dates that I have going on why they signed me in the first place. So that is my goal, is to continue to just prove that I belong and that I will always keep growing and evolving.
Thank you very much, Viva. It's been a pleasure to have you here, to know more about you, your story. There's a lot of things that I didn't even imagine, so thank you for sharing all that. And before ending, I wanted to know if you have a message that you want to share to your fans, to fans of AEW, especially the fans from Asia that will be seeing or meeting you for the first time very soon.
Yeah, I would love to give a shout out to my Viva Maniacs. If it wasn't for you guys, I would not be here where I am today doing what I love. So I hope to continue to make you all proud, make everyone at New Japan Academy proud and AEW proud. So please, thank you for your love and support. I see it all, and let's stay hell-bent through 2025 and 2026.
That was all for today, friends. Stay healthy. See you next time.